So I ranked my favorite D&D classes. How about I tier rank my favorite characters? My friends played. I have no idea. This video intro is being recorded way in advance. Hey guys, Crystal here, and yes, I'm making a tier ranking for player characters. Since we already talked about classes, I figure this is the next logical step. So, we are going to switch to a different view, probably a different shirt, because the rest of this footage is recorded when I make the video, and this is recorded way in advance. Let's get started. It's times like this I realize how much of a hot mess I am, because I just watched my own intro for this video to make sure I say all the right things. And, yeah. Other me is an idiot. Because I want to talk about my friends, but apparently when I designed this, it's all my characters. So, yeah, we're doing this from my perspective. Anyway, left to right, I made a bunch of them on Hero Forge so you could have a visual representation of what the character looked like in my head. Okay, so she has, this one has 2 images. Let me make it a little bigger. The reason for it. Surindeme. Surindeme was one of the first, if not the first, character that I played. And it kind of came out of a conversation with my husband, who is my DM, of what it'd be like to play a dragon. I was reading the Dragonlance books, and I kind of thought it would be really fun to play a dragon and kind of see what kind of mischief I could get up with. He actually found an entire homebrew template for how to play dragons in a world, and Surindeme was created. Surindeme was a druid gold dragon, druid of the moon, and she played in the Out of the Abyss and Prince of the Apocalypse. It was a solo campaign because hubby and I were just kind of testing the waters, seeing if D&D was going to be a thing, and it really was. She also made a minor cameo in our Horde of the Dragon Queen and the Rise of Tiamat campaigns, the later one. I don't remember which one is in which first. But since she's a dragon and dragons live for freaking years, centuries even, we figured she can make a minor cameo in the dragon campaign because dragons. But yes, she was a druid of the moon, and I think I multi-classed her with something else. Feel like it might have been wizard. I have no idea. Because it's been a while and I no longer have those notes. But, yep. Lady Surindeme with her little, her ring of transformation, which let her look like a gnome. There was quite a few instances where she would walk in as a gnome and not be taken seriously. It started off as sort of an adventure guild sort of campaign where once I got free of the Prince of the Apocalypse and Out of the Abyss, there was some downtime, and it's like, hey, let's go to the Adventures Guild and do some adventures missions to level up. And kind of like mess around with Baldur's Gate, because it was set in Faerun. And it was like, oh, I want to try like your hardest thing ever, because she was a highest level druid, but she was a gnome, and the people in the Adventures Guild were like, no, you have to rank up. And it was fun playing a character. It's like, yeah, no, totally, I'll rank up. That's like pretending to be a mortal race, only to have it discovered that she's a dragon. And the guild was so mad. It was like, you should have like mentioned this. We wouldn't have treated you this way if we knew you were actually a gold dragon. Like, what the fuck? And it was so much fun. I want to play a long life character like that again, one that spans through multiple campaigns. I think that is super fun. And that's like my D&D life goals, instead of having like one character for every single campaign. Because one thing my husband did was I started off as one class, and then I could try another class, and then I could try another class, because since this is a dragon, and dragons live forever, and they love knowledge and shinies and stuff. And I think that was a really cool way of playing D&D. Is like I couldn't, like, I tried not to use the more powerful stuff, and then if like hubby would like rank things up to make sure that if I tried to use my high level druid spells, it would still be a challenge. And it was just a really cool oh, cutting myself off, saying a really cool way of doing this is Surindeme actually belongs in Deified, because by the end of her run, she was an archdruid of her own grove and became a warlock patron for this kid in the town that her grove is near. And it was a really cute like end of her arc. Okay. Next one is Kasira. Make it bigger. Whee! Okay. Kasira is an Oath of Vengeance paladin that I did try for a couple of sessions. I don't think I mentioned that in the last video. But life gets in the way and schedules become a thing. This was actually a campaign I was running with a few guildies. And there were some things that were happening at the time, a little bit of drama, and we just kind of stopped. But it was like, I think it was the 2 sessions. I realized how much not fun a paladin is at early levels because they have no magic, and I'm not a big fan of martial classes, as I said in the last video. But yeah, I would like to try her again, but unfortunately, her campaign dissolved. But you know, someday. Ruka. Ruka's a weird egg. She was in the campaign following another character somewhere in this pile, and she started off as a fighter. Started off as an eldritch knight corrupted by this kind of like a betrayer god. We were playing in the Scarred Lands adventures, which was like a half homebrew, half something my husband found online. It was still part of D&D. It was 5th edition, but it was on a different plane. And she was corrupted by this dark goddess of magic. So it was kind of warlocky, but not. And originally she was a druid. Like in her backstory, she was supposed to be this up and coming druid fighter, protector of her clan and stuff. But when she got corrupted by this essence of divinity, of this dark magic, she was outcasted from her clan. And in the world, she showed up sort of to help the party and also make sure this other bad god, this other betrayer god sort of character did not rise. So she became this protector of the party. And by the time the campaign was over, she became a moon druid fighter, which I thought was an interesting story. Definitely, the story itself I think was a lot cooler than the character. This is also the same campaign as this one, which we'll talk about later. This had my friend of mine playing a grave cleric who was actually a splinter of a fallen god. That was super cool. And another one of my friends was playing the progeny of a god. This is just like, it was a very deified campaign, and there are so many good like story moments from it where the party, so my character that's not Ruka, a hexblade warlock character, why am I not remembering anybody's names? And then there was a sorcerer monk character. Those 3 characters were from Faerun. They got sucked into this magical portal by this evil demon and sent to the Scarred Lands. So they had to learn about the land as they're going and try to figure out a way home. That was the idea of the story. Well, for my character, the other one down here, You know what? We'll rank them at the same time. Fuck it. Illyria. Illyria is my bard. There we go. Okay, now I can tell you the story. So Illyria wanted to go home. She was a minstrel at a bar and also had a side gig of picking everybody's pockets. She was sassy and colorful and just this total peacock character of like all the colors in her hair and her oh my god, her jacket was super crazy and it was like Molly Mock but a bard. It's kind of how I looked at it. And as the story progressed, the other members of the party weren't really giving a fuck about going home. And they met this god of death, this shard of a god of death, this death cleric, who they kind of connected with a little bit. They're kind of friends. And one day the cleric asked Illyria, the bard, if she wanted to go home, because there was just drama, and her character and the Hexblade Yanti, that was the race they were playing, character were constantly butting heads. And Illyria's like, that was like one of my greatest wishes sort of things. It was this really deep, like this really cute moment between the death cleric and the bard. And then the cleric decides to banish Illyria. So I lost that character and switched to this one. I got to play Ruka. There is a running joke between me and my friend that plays the cleric, and he's always going to fuck with my character. We laugh about it, because in another campaign, that player played a black dragon, and my character tried to raise a black dragon, and it was a time. And through this entire history of my friendship with this friend, it's always a very interesting character dynamic between the two of us, and it's a time. I absolutely love it as a storyteller and as a narrative focused player, where it's just kind of like other characters I've played with that player is this one here, which is actually not a D&D character. She's part of the Firefly system. And her character and his character had this really weird dynamic because she was kind of evil and he was trying to make her not be evil. And, yeah, cows were tipped, if I remember correctly. We'll get into her stories later, because that's high school edgelord syndrome to a T. But Ruka, that's all about Ruka. Her campaign was finished. We got through the Scarred Lands campaign. It was a lot of fun. I have so many stories. Don't know if I can remember them. Also, going here. Illyria the Bard, she got banished. She ended up coming back as an NPC, as an evil boss NPC, because the demon that sent us there went to go find her, corrupted her, turned her into a hexblade, and set her loose on the party. So I got to try to kill my own character, which, let me just tell you, trying to kill your own character is a fucking ride, okay? I'm not even gonna get into some of the other things. Okay, so since I moved her over, fuck it, we'll talk about Scarlet. Okay, so Scarlet was part of the Firefly RPG system that I played back in high school. She is a psychic, because I loved River Tam, and my DM at the time, the friend who played the Hexblade Warlock, wanted to play with string theory, so we decided to make psychics a little bit more psychically powerful, and there was a plot with an evil shadow organization that were responsible for freeing River and Simon, getting River and Simon Tam away from the Alliance, but also they were evil and trying to kill people and turn them more psychics, and my character tore a ship apart with her mind. And there is something where you can become too evil, where were all friends, right? In the campaign, or in the group of players playing this campaign. This was like pre-husband. And me and the DM had this plot where it's like, yeah, she's just gonna turn evil, and it became such a moment. And then trying to get her a redemption arc where she ends up on a deserted island to sort of pay for her crimes, a la like WandaVision, where Wanda has this like little orchard by herself, and also tries to kill a couple of the party members. Like I said, high school edgelord syndrome. Oh my god, I loved playing Scarlet, and there is actually a not so short story with her and just continuing where the campaign kind of leaves off. We did like 3 seasons of that one campaign. It was a long form campaign. It lasted through the last couple years. It was like the last 2 years of high school and then one, I think, or maybe even then 2. I have no idea. But there was a point I was getting at and I already forgot what I was saying. Anyway. The short story. The short story that me and the character that my friend played, Dane Kessler, there's this, we made a story with the party. We wrote it, we did a thing. It's way too many words, and it is some of the most cringe writing I've ever seen in my entire existence, and it'll never see the fucking light of day. Ever. But the campaign was finished. We did try to make a spin-off campaign, but with the friend Dane Kessler, the player behind him, he was the DM, and we were going to be the players. And yeah, phones got dropped into toilets. Still slightly bitter. Slightly, not really, really not. Okay. Moving on. This character was a wizard I mentioned, where it was a super homebrewed wizard, so it wasn't like the perfect like playing of a wizard, and that's why I made Phoebe in the first place, was to get how wizards actually work. And we're gonna get into how that turned out. It was in a campaign called like the 5 Keys or something like that, where it was this tournament with like Hunger Games sort of thing, where my character signed up and they had to reach the end of this giant mountain or something. It's been so long, I barely remember. But you had to get these 5 magical keys. And once you had all of these keys, or was it 10 keys? I have no idea. It was a lot of keys. You had to get to the end, and then you got this power of the god Ioun or Mistral. I don't remember. She did. And she became the Hands of Mistral, or Ioun. One of those. There was some betrayal. She thought her best friend was her best friend. Turns out it was someone who was just literally signed up to kill her. But she was basically deified. And unfortunately, I don't remember too. She did have this really cool book where it was a sentient item, but it was also a spellbook. And by the time she reached the end of the campaign, the spellbook actually could turn itself into a person. It was fucking weird. But a lot of fun. Alright, we have Thea Seascale. I actually made a Warcraft character. It was supposed to be a hunter. And you can't space names in WoW. And so people just kept calling me Theosophy. It was really cute. Really weird. Anyway, Thea is a half-dragon. She was supposed to be a dragonborn. Ended up finding out she's actually a half-dragon. Her egg was locked in this magical box in a stasis spell, and she showed up 1,000 years later. With no knowledge of anything, and was raised by druids. Cool character concept. The character was duller than white bread, or blander than white bread, because like it was like the first time I started playing D&D with my friends, because Surindeme, Illyria, or no, what the hell was this character's name? Do I even remember? Fellstone. Okay, yeah. Fellstone and Surindeme both were solo characters. This was the first character I played with a party. and I wasn't sure if I wasn't completely comfortable with playing D&D at the time, because Thea actually came before Surindeme, and I just mostly let my friend who played the cleric do things, and then the Black Dragon showed up, which, again, crazy character dynamics, and then I started getting comfortable, but of all the characters I've played, she feels like the least developed, I think. Yeah. Half dragon. Ranger. Beastmaster. Her campaign finished, as campaigns want to do. It was just the 2 campaigns, Horde of the Dragon Queen and Rise of Tiamat. And, yeah, she's probably living the good life somewhere. You know, Okay, who's next? Oh, actually, before I do that, I will tell one story that I really loved. This is why you never overpower your players. My DM learned this the hard way. He gave this half dragon an oath bow, which is like, you say a magic word and you know where that character is. It's like Hunter's Mark on crack, and you get extra damage and stuff. Also, he gave the party invisibility rings, and I had haste. At some point, we walked into a dragon's lair. It was a white dragon, and it was supposed to be one of the highest level dragons in the campaign. It was supposed to be a hard fight. We were ready for it, and I one-shot the damn thing because I was stealthed. I hit a nat 20. It was like everything just kind of snowballed into the perfect storm, to the point where everyone's kind of looking at because I also had dragon slaying arrows, and it was greater dragon slaying arrows. So this very old white dragon just bit it. Just dinner. Done. To the point where hubby's like, yeah, no, that dragon was actually a younger dragon, and the actual, I think his name was like the Frigid Doom. Frigid Doom is actually on his way hearing this dragon's cries, right? And he had to, like, in the moment, rank up the difficulty because my character could fly, I had a bow, and I had haste. Forget about, like, the rest of the party. The rest of the party was also badass, but it was a problem. It was a problem. My husband learned the lesson. I don't think he's ever given us that much power ever again. We also, the end of the Tiamat campaign, you go into this room, and it's there's a bunch of cultists, and they're trying to raise Tiamat, right? It's this big moment, and they're chanting, and they're emoting, and cleric casts silence. Now they can't raise the god. Oh my god, it was the best day ever. That was so much fun. See, like, it was great character moments. Like, absolutely. Some of, like, there was some chef's kiss roleplay moments with the character, like, the storyline, I mean. But me playing the character, I felt really just kind of, this is not quite me. It's not quite me as I wanted it to be. I just wanted to live out my best Vexalia fantasy. That is why Thea existed. This character, her name was like Alice or Alicia or something. I had this, like, story idea where she was this thief that had multiple names and multiple identities, and that was all I had. She got thrown into a campaign that I don't even remember where it was. I think it was Faerun. I think she lasted 2 sessions, and I got bored of trying to play a thief rogue. I got both. There was no character backstory, and the class I picked was pure martial, and I like magic, and it just did not go well. Next. This character, I don't even remember her name, but she was a Tabaxi monk, Way of the Hand. This is the character following Alicia, so it's like I didn't learn my fucking lesson. But it was a lot more fun. We were playing in a batch of modules, Tales of the Sword Coast, There was a good section of my D&D playingness. I want to say career, but that's not the right word. Where we wanted to see if some of the books that we bought and we had and some of the adventures we got were something we wanted to play through. So my husband would use me as a demo and then present the campaign to the class, the party, our group, our home game. Once he tweaked it and messed with it and stuff, just to see if it was something that I wanted to do. D&D really started as something that hubby and I could do together because I was bored and we weren't playing WoW and stuff. We're big fans of Critical Role. So that's how all that happened. There was a temple that this character went to, and my husband showed me the map. Okay. And it had the different rooms numbered. We didn't do Fog of War or anything. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to go room to room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to explore all the rooms, take care of whatever stuff is in that room, and move on. I know that the bosses are in the last room, so I'm going to wait till later, and I'm going to do some recon, see what kind of situation is going to be in that last room. So the second last room I go into, and on this monk, there I get caught. And I went through it so fast that the boss plus the 2 sub-bosses were all in the same room. And it was a solo campaign, so I should have went into the last room first, because the last room was where the thing we were looking for. And I went to the second last room, got ambushed, mind controlled, turned against NPC character that was with me, and that was it. The campaign was over. My character got obliterated by fireballs and all kinds of stuff, couldn't fight back. And yeah. It was fun up until that moment, and I kind of want to try stuff again with the party. That's the only way I think I'd play the monk again, because the character was fun, even though the monk I picked was Marshall. So, yeah. Phoebe Fizzlebang. There is another D&D video that I have planned that I talk about Phoebe a lot, because I talk about character death. And we're still actually dealing with Phoebe's character death. Phoebe Fizzlebang was me wanting to try the wizard again. But I also like the idea of playing artificer, since we were playing in the Ravnica campaign setting. And I thought that'd be really fun to play the smartest kid in the room, who was kind of bitchy, but when the chips were down, she had your back, even if she thought you were dumb about it. That's what I wanted the character to be. What the character felt like as the campaign went through, I started feeling like I was taking moments from my friends. Like me, Crystal, was robbing my friends of their moments because my character was too smart. And I couldn't figure out a way to throttle it back. And I did not enjoy playing her. And at the same time, there was some stuff going on with the party where my character just kept getting into shit because she's a greedy power maniac narcissist. And my husband was like, yeah, no, this is the type of character you're going to play. You're going to have to, these are the consequences this character is going to have. And we were very clear about that sort of thing. And she fell unconscious multiple times because she's a wizard, takes 4 damage, you know the meme. And there was a moment where she touched a magical item, and it was a cube that was stuck to her, and no matter what she tried, she couldn't get rid of it. And there was an incident with calm emotions, and she jumped off a tree and killed herself. And that was me, the player, thinking, oh, the paladin can heal, but the paladin's a low level, so there was no healing yet. And there's no rezzing yet. I mean, that's what I meant. No rezzing yet. So I fucked my own character. It was problematic. So problematic. So she got resurrected by a wild druid and became Hazel Gibbons. Now, I didn't get to reveal this to the party, But Hazel Gibbon is an anagram for Phoebe Fizzlebang, and I thought that was super cool. Never got revealed. She came back as a human. She had a little bit of an identity crisis. I was also going through an identity crisis at that moment, with some stuff that's been going on in my real life. And she kind of became a vessel for that, and I also realized that wasn't exactly fair. So I'm like, you know what? She's gonna leave. She's gonna go and come back when I'm ready. So I'm not ready to play her yet in the way I feel. So I started playing this character. Whee. Talia Zar, a tiefling of the Rakdos clan druid, or blood hunter. Order of the Lycan. This is her werewolf form. And she's a lot of fun. This is my current character. When Phoebe's first death, I got some time to just try something out. This was a character that was supposed to be part of the Selesny clan, but after escaping the Rakdos found her, imprisoned her, and the party found her after she tried to escape, and the party had this target to go after, which was the people who imprisoned her. 2 birds, 1 bullet. Now her and the party are friends. All right. She did have to go. There was a misunderstanding between me and the DM, thinking, oh, now since that part of the campaign's over, that was the only reason she existed, was to get the party there to help facilitate that. So I guess I have to leave. So I accidentally left with her early. And thought I was forced to go back to this bitch. And that's when it really started to feel fucked. It's like I wasn't gelling with with Phoebe Hazel at all. There was also some drama within the party with Baj trying to find his mom. I've covered a lot of this in other videos. I'm trying to paraphrase as best I can to not have this video be an hour long. But like the more I played her, the more I missed Tally. So there, my husband and I talked. I'm like, I'm not enjoying playing D&D right now. I don't like this character. I don't like how this makes me feel. I don't like playing a bitch anymore. This was a mistake on my account, and I don't feel like just flipping a switch and making her pleasant. So there was a story arc. It was the second half of Phoebe's story arc where she was going to get in trouble. She was going to bite off way more than she was going to chew, or that she could chew, and she got caught by an evil wizard with a vengeance and was killed brutally. There's the paladin Baj wants to have a funeral for her, so we're still dealing with the consequences of Hazel's death and my decisions. But Hazel/Phoebe is dead. And I will probably never play a bitch character ever again, because it was awkward. So awkward. As for Tally, since we're talking about her, she's back now. After Phoebe's death and the fact that the party is kind of in flux, mostly Baj, let's be real. Again, same character as the Black Dragon and the Death God. Baj and Phoebe were like best friends, so Baj lost his best friend, and now we're kind of dealing with that, the aftermath of that. And so Tally struck a deal with her boss of this like wolf pack, was like, I kind of want to stay with them and kind of make sure they're okay, and be there when they need me. Also, they're more interesting than just sitting around here all day. So she got to hang out and stay with the party, and I'm really enjoying playing a blood hunter. So it is an ongoing campaign, and it's fun. And I can't wait to finish the story, because like I said, it's ongoing, so I can't say much. I don't really know why I put this character here. This character is Zila. It is a character design I have for the next campaign after after our current story wraps up. It is another ranger, and I'm already second guessing it, but we're wanting to do a game in the Fizzban universe, which is like another type of dragon campaign setting, which I think is still going to be Faerun or not Faerun. I actually don't know too much about the universe yet. Hubby's making a homebrew campaign that has the aspects from the source book for Fizzban, and I suppose there's the subclass I'm looking for this ranger. You basically get to summon your own dragon companion, which I think is really cool, which is the only reason why I picked ranger. So, but I don't even know much about her because much like Thea, she seems really just boring. Like she's not developed yet. I do have another character that I have a design for. I don't have a place to put this one. Shit. I did not make a place for... You know what? We're just gonna put it here. There should have been an option for... haven't started yet. But there's actually quite a few characters that I haven't put in here. Okay, I started making a column for characters I haven't done yet, and then I realized that there's a couple characters that I've designed that I kind of don't want to talk about because I'm really excited that should ever be a time we play a campaign with my friends that they see this character. So we're not even going to talk about it, even though I have actually talked about it a little bit. Other characters I can talk about, I had a samurai in the Legend of the Five Rings campaign, which was super fun, and I think it also got toileted in the thing that killed the spinoff to the Firefly campaign. Notes got destroyed. There was also another Firefly character I played named Claire. She was a general's daughter, and was best friends with, again, the same character that played the Black Dragon. We have a type. That was a lot of fun and also really weird. And I switched characters a couple. She almost had the same arc as Phoebe. Because I started seeing a road the character was going on, and I'm like, I don't think she'd stay with these people. But it worked. That one worked out, and I liked her. The campaign is finished. I feel like this isn't actually a tier list so much as me just talking about my characters because I love telling stories. And to not let this video be an hour long, I'm gonna stop it here. Okay. This is a lot of fun, and I like doing D&D videos like this. If you want to see other kind of D&D tier ranks, let me know in the comments below of this or the other video. Yeah, that's it. That's all. I stream on Mondays, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I play Elden Ring. Renell is dead, so that's the thing. I'm not sure where to go next, but it's fine. I might be streaming on Wednesdays. This is a batch recording with the other tier ranking video. So you guys know, but I don't. That's fun. But it's probably going to be on Wednesdays, 1 p.m. I don't know. I also stream with the Chaos Queens every once in a while, but our schedule is currently in flux due to moving and schedules and vacations and stuff like that. So keep an eye out on social media to find out when we do that. Until next time, I love and appreciate every single one of you. And we will see you guys in the next video or stream, depending on where we end up next.